Listen, you're not going to talk. You're not going to talk to
wasted
me. You're not going to talk to me
fraud
and talk
and
over
non-New
me
York residents
because you don't want to
getting
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed up.
Is that the way to
you
talk?
showed up. You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one
I
big
signed
ugly
on
bill.
for this. You can extend it right
A
now.
permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
So 90% of Americans.
Y'all, the hat. The hat just keeps getting bigger.
You can get a permanent extension.
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Is that right?
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Is that right?
If you had your way, the standard deduction would have been cut in half. That would have been a massive tax increase on Americans all across the country.
You're
You support
here,
that?
unfortunately.
You're against lifting the cap on salt?
Your billionaire donors.
The billionaire donors lifting the cap on
correct.
salt. We put a income cap in place.
Why are you here right now?
An income
Where are the
cap.
rest
Didn't
of
you
your
want all
Republican
Republicans
colleagues?
to be here?
Where are the rest of your Republican
You wanted
colleagues?
Republicans to be here. I'm here.
Why are you
And
here?
by the way, you can pass an ACA extension right now. Sign on to this bill.
Did your boss
sign
Donald
on
Trump?
to the bill?
Is your boss Donald Trump behind you?
HR 5145. Why don't you get on it?
Mike, is your
Oh, man. Democrats are collapsing under their own hypocrisy. Hakeem Jeffries just got caught in one of the most embarrassing shutdown meltdowns you'll ever see, man. And by the way, that's the official White House account clowning their own opposition. Ouch. You know it's bad when official, comm office is meeting us, memeing rather a Democrat leader. But, as these things tend to do, it gets worse because the cameras kept rolling when Jeffries tried to check Rep. Mike Lawler in the halls of Congress. Started from the top.
Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss Donald
You
Trump?
can easily extend the ACA
Did your
right
boss
now.
Donald Trump
He's
give
not
you
my
permission?
boss.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way,
So let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to
Let me
shut
ask
the
you a
government
question.
down?
You
Why
know
did
I-
you vote to shut it
Let me
down?
ask you a question.
For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to
No,
make
it's
yourself
sad.
relevant.
It's sad. You could easily sign on to
You're
this.
embarrassing yourself
You can
right
sign
now.
on to this. The only
You're
embarrassment
chasing
here is you.
clout. You're an
You
embarrassment.
can sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here.
Let me ask
Why
you a
won't you
question.
sign
Let
on
me ask
to
you a
it?
question.
It's a
Let
clean
me ask you
extension
a
for 1
question.
year.
You voted for the one big
Clean
ugly bill,
extension.
correct?
I voted for a tax cut bill that gave the largest tax cut to Americans in history, including, by the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing
Do you want
yourself
to
right now.
cut the standard deduction in
The
half? Is that
largest
what you
cut
wanted
to
to do?
Medicaid in
No, we
American
rooted
history.
out
You voted
waste,
for that.
fraud, and abuse, by the way.
You voted
Tom DiNapoli, the
for a
Democratic
permanent-
controller of New
Let
York,
me ask you a question.
pointed out that $1.2 billion
If you're
were
gonna-
wasted.
Listen, you're not going to talk. You're not going to talk to me.
Wasted
You're not
on
going to talk to me
fraud
and talk.
Oh, he's so fake tough. You're not gonna talk to me.
Non-New York residents
because you don't
getting
want to
paid.
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm
So
listening.
why
Go
don't you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed
that-
up.
is that the way to
you
talk?
showed up. You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one
I
big
signed
ugly
on
bill.
for this. You can extend it right
A
now.
permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
So 90% of
So
Americans.
they can get a permanent extension.
90% of Americans
working
take the
class
standard
Americans
deduction.
can't? Is that right?
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Is that right?
If you had your way, the standard deduction would have been cut in half. That would have been a massive tax increase on Americans all across the country.
You're
You support
here,
that?
unfortunately.
You're against
to do
lifting the cap on
bidding
salt?
Of your billionaire donors.
The
That's
billionaire
unfortunate.
donors lifting the
That's
cap on
correct.
salt. We put a income cap in place.
Why are you here right now?
An income
Where are the
cap.
re- where are the rest
Didn't
of
you
your
want all
Republican
Republicans
colleagues?
to be here?
Where are
I'm
the
here.
rest? Where are the rest of your Republican
You wanted
colleagues?
Republicans to be here. I'm here.
Why are you
And
here?
by the way,
What?
you can pass an ACA extension right now. Sign
your
on to this
boss-
bill.
Did your boss
Sign
Donald
on
Trump-
to the bill.
Is your boss Donald Trump behind it?
HR 5145. Why don't you get on it?
Mike, is your boss Donald Trump behind that?
Why won't you get on it?
Because you don't work for the American people.
Oh, I do. I work
don't work for
for
the
the
people
people
of
of
the
New
17th
York. I work for the
District.
people of my district.
Is that why you? Is that
I'm
why
here.
You got 140.
And by the way, I voted for a clean CR to keep the government open
Mike,
and funded.
you're-
You voted to shut it
You're
down.
embarrassing yourself right now.
Yeah, leader, with all due
Well, as
respect,
they would say
you're
back
the
in the-
one.
why are you playing yourself?
You're the one
Why are you
who
playing
actually
yourself with
voted
these
to shut
theatrics?
the government down.
Actually, you
It's
know
sad.
that's not true.
It's sad. You voted to shut the government down.
Do Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the president?
Right, and you're smart enough to know
Is
that,
that
you
right?
need 60 votes in the Senate,
Is
right?
that right? No.
Do you need 60 votes in the
Were
Senate or no?
60 votes needed to pass your one big ugly bill?
Reconciliation, which you
Was
did with the
60
IRA,
was
and
60
boy, that really reduced inflation.
Are you
did a
trying to
great job
elevate
there.
yourself because you're afraid
I'm not
you're
trying to
about lose
elevate myself.
re-election?
No, I'm not going to lose
Let me ask you a
re-election. You
question.
spent $42 million last cycle.
Mike,
You didn't do
Mike,
that
let me
great.
ask you a question. Why aren't you running for governor right now? Because you spent,
Because I
you spent a
actually
year and a half.
enjoy this job, and I'm here to do
You
it. And
enjoy
by the
it?
way,
You enjoy
by the way,
it? You
you could
enjoy
actually
embarrassing
pass.
yourself?
You could actually pass
You enjoy being a
a
lackey for
subsidy
Donald
right
Trump?
now
Is that
to
right?
ensure that people don't have health care premiums going up. Why won't you support this one-year bill?
Let me ask you a question.
Tom Swazi's on it. Jared.
I know I don't do a lot of pausing usually, but it's just the tactics that he's trying to use are just tasteless. He's using a lot of, insults to try to derail any point that Mike Lawler is trying to make. But he's not countering any point with anything that makes sense. Instead, it's you're Donald Trump's lackey. You're basically his slave, essentially.
Golden.
Let me ask you a question.
Marie Blusenkamp Perez.
Let me ask you
Are
a
they
question.
wrong?
Your
Don Davis?
other boss,
Are they wrong?
Your other boss, Mike Johnson. I challenged him to a debate
Yeah.
on the floor. Did he send you?
No, I'm here on
his
my
behalf,
behalf
'cause
of
he's
my
afraid to
constituents
debate. Is
because
that
you
right?
shut the government down. And my constituents are suffering as a result of your ridiculous ploy because you're so afraid of Zohran Mandami. By the way, when are you endorsing him?
By the way,
do you endorse him for mayor?
First of all, are you
going to endorse him for mayor?
Listen, you're a complete and total embarrassment right now.
Oh, why is that? Because you don't want to answer the question?
Is this supposed to be a video for your failed
You don't want
re-election?
to. You don't want to answer the question. Do you support Zohran? By the way, did you see his statement yesterday?
Listen.
An embarrassment on October 7th, blaming the Jews. You support that? Should he be the Democratic nominee for mayor?
First of all, I don't answer to you. You
Should
don't
he be the
even
Democratic
answer to
mayor?
yourself.
Should he be the
You don't
Democratic
even-
nominee
I'll
for
answer
mayor?
whatever questions I need to answer about
Okay,
the
so you
mayor's
think
race,
his statement
about the-
yesterday was okay?
First of all,
All right. That's sad.
First of all,
It's unfortunate.
don't come with this phony
These are bills.
bill. No.
These are bills. They're not phony.
It's
They're
not
real
a bill
bills.
that Republicans are even.
Jeffries didn't just lose his cool, he lost the argument. Lawler, he laid it out plain. Democrats voted for the shutdown by refusing a clean funding bill. No excuses, no distractions. And notice, Jeffries never answers the actual question. Just noise. It's not just Republican saying it.
Open and then going into the normal appropriations process. I mean, there was an election, and the Republicans were put in a position where they were able to pass the big, beautiful bill, or you call it the big, ugly bill. To then say, we don't like any of that, so we're going to shut down the government until you take back all the things that you duly passed through legislation. If Republicans had tried to do that to the Inflation Reduction Act or the any of the acts that Biden and that administration have passed, if they said we're going to shut down the government because we don't like any of those things you did, we're going to not pay our military, we're going to, not allow the government to reopen until you do what we want. After an election where the American people put Democrats in power, you'd be going crazy. You'd be going crazy about using a shutdown of the government with a continuing resolution to get what you want just because you don't like what the Republicans did. It's not how it works. It's bad. It's bad precedent, and it's just clear. And you're talking about the House. You've already passed this. The Senate is who we're talking about, and they have a bill which will reopen the government right now with 5 more Democrats.
What is bad precedent is the Republican refusal to engage in bipartisan negotiations. What is bad precedent is the Republicans embarking on a my way or the highway approach from the very beginning of this Congress. Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Joe, you're exactly right. So if the government shuts down, they've made the decision to shut the government down. And they can reopen it right now if they chose to with a rule change in the Senate. But I just explained it. The reality is they want to keep the government closed. Cruelty from the very beginning of this administration has been the point. And the responsible thing to do is to sit down and negotiate a bipartisan path forward to address a very real health care crisis that's upon us right now. Open enrollment starts on November 1st.
Can you do those negotiations while the government is reopened? I think that's the offer that's been on the table. We did hear the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, talking about how, look, he passed a clean CR. There's not really much for him to politic in because there's nothing to take out. Any Republican pork that they pushed into this to take out of it to offer as a way of getting around this. Can you reopen the government and have these conversations if there's a willing party on the other side, which it sounds like there is if you talk to some of the Republicans who see this as an issue in their district as well?
Well, certainly Marjorie Taylor Greene has made clear that it's a very real issue. It's an issue that Republicans have ignored throughout this year, and it's an issue that needs to be addressed right now. Mike Johnson has made the representation, including at that White House meeting that we had last week, after Chuck Schumer and I reached out to demand that we have the conversation. Unfortunately, it took place literally a day before the government shut down because Republicans have refused to engage in bipartisan negotiations.
When even CNBC is cornering you, that's when you know your talking points are collapsing. They didn't even let him spin. They pressed him hard on why Democrats are blocking a resolution. And just like the last few clips, he's given no real answers. And regular Americans are, let's just say, taking note.
Hey guys, this is Latina, your favorite community advocate. So I saw the showdown between Hakeem Jeffries and Congressman Mike Lawler. I'm gonna just say this, you know, to the Democratic Party, get your shit together. Like, this clashing back and forth and not working together is really hurting the American people. Hakeem Jeffries, why are you fighting for illegals to give free health care on taxpayers' dime? This is what this shit is all about. This is nothing more than a political stunt for you guys to try to make it look like you're the good guys. You're gaslighting the taxpayers. You're lying to us. You're pushing an agenda to help protect illegals and not look out for the American people. And when you guys talk about tax breaks for the rich people and this and that, the rich people that you're speaking of are the same rich people that donate to your shitty ass campaigns, okay? And you guys are also doing insider trading, which is something that should be banned from Congress altogether. Get to work and start servicing the American people and do what you're supposed to be doing. All of this back and forth for political stunts is really starting to become annoying. Get to work and do real work, guys.
This is the voice of the people. Everyday Americans are tired of the DC games, tired of politicians holding their paychecks hostage. And she more than nails the point. Democrats keep prioritizing illegal immigration perks while citizens are left in limbo waiting. That's fair to you? This is what's boiling at the grassroots.
Next time you hear a Democrat say something stupid, like Americans need to pay their fair share, I want you to be reminded that Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Democrat Party in the House of Representatives, currently lives in a condo in Brooklyn, New York, in which he only pays $213 a year in property taxes. Yeah, that's right. $213 every year. So if you're like me, you're probably wondering, wow, that seems like a sweetheart deal. How did that happen? Well, good news. I have the answer for you, because back in 2007, when Hakeem Jeffries became an assemblyman in the state of New York, he co-sponsored legislation. This legislation made changes to a program called the 421A, and the changes that were made effectively offered a 50-year tax abatement at the 1971 tax rates on properties that had 20% or more low-income housing. And wouldn't you know, the condo that he purchased just so happens to be in a building that qualify. Now, you're also probably saying to yourself, wow, that doesn't seem like a fair share at all. And you would be right, because the property that he owns right now is valued anywhere from $1 million to $1.3 million. And were he paying property taxes at the going rate in the state of New York, his property tax bill every single year would be somewhere around $18,000 to $19,000. And yet somehow the property that he owns qualifies for this tax abatement. And instead of paying $19,000 a year, he's paying $213. So just remember, when you hear people say things like pay your fair share, understand that Marxism is not about fairness. Marxism is about power, and using that power to penalize others while benefiting yourself with $213 a year in property taxes.
Hakeem Jeffries. Now here's the knockout punch for Hakeem, who yells, tax the rich every chance that he gets. Pays just over $200 a year on $1 million condo thanks to insider loopholes. That's the kind of corruption and hypocrisy that fuels this shutdown mess. Democrats can sit here and claim the moral high ground when their leaders are gaming the very system they pretend that they're fighting for. This isn't incompetence. It's a cover. It's a cover up of a broken party. Man, what do I want the word to be? Put paychecks hostage. Maybe we'll make it random. Put that down in the comment section if you made it to the end. Yeah, other than that, I want you to be safe today. Please go check on a friend. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.